Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge of the Brawler Cafe, bringing you another Bakugan analysis. Today we're going to be diving into the Haos faction. Last video, there was a comment saying that they were excited to see me, see my opinion on Haos Fangzor. And let me tell you guy, who I cannot remember the name of, I am too. I am very excited to talk about Haos Fangzor because, oh boy, this is a good Bakugan. I'm very excited to talk about Haos in general. Haos has a lot of very interesting Bakugan that I'm very excited to talk about. So first up, we have Haos Fangzor. So Haos Fangzor is 107, which is not great on the power side, but the damage side synergizes very strongly with Pyrus. And Pyrus has a lot of natural synergy with Haos because Pyrus has cards like Hot Potato and Inferno Wing, which can remove cores from the opponent's Bakugan and thus allow your domination ability to come online. And this, of course, plays very well into Fangzor. So Fangzor is not only 107, but also has the domination ability. If your Bakugan holds the most Baku cores, it gets plus 400B, so it becomes a 507, which you might recall is better statted than an Aurelis. Hits that 500B point that we really want to be seeing, and it still has that very high 7 damage, which with Pyrus's cards that change the Victor condition to damage, 7 damage is the highest damage you will find on a base form Bakugan. So under domination you get respectable power, and you get the highest base damage that you could ask for those outwin condition cards. Its evolution is also pretty good. So it comes out at 4, which is kind of late, but via its domination ability, it will now be 1500 B power total. Its damage only increases a bit to 8, but we don't really need much more than 7 damage anyways, so we don't really need an increase there at all. Yeah, this is a really good Bakugan. Like, I very highly recommend this Bakugan. Super good, especially in a Haos Pyrus deck. Basically any deck that you're really focusing on domination, Haos Fangzor is a super strong pick. Especially since Haos doesn't really have 600 base B power Bakugan in general. Like, I believe their only one is Garganoid Ultra, which is not out yet. So 500 is the best you're getting on base forms anyways, and under domination, Fangzor achieves that. So, you know, all you really need. Fangzor is just great. Next up, we have Haos Garganoid Ultra. Now, Garganoid is one of my personal favorite Bakugan designs, and I'm really grateful that, like, all of his forms have come out pretty well so far. So let's get into this dude. So we have Shield Fist again. I forgot to go over that with Fangzor, but not really important. With 403. Not fantastic stat line, but its Evo is going to be more than worth it. So Garganoid's Evo fits into a very specific type of deck. So it's 3 cost, 705, not great. But if you have 3 or more heroes in play, it becomes a 1210. Very high stat line. Now this is the sort of thing that you're going to want to be running in a slower Haos plus Aquos build with maybe like Ventus or Darkus to help slow down your opponent, because it's going to take a while to get those heroes into play. You really want Aquos for the hero part, because Aquos has the best heroes in the game. A lot of low cost good stuff. Strata to keep your hand healthy. Masato to increase your damage, and Everett to increase your power, your B power. All of these are really fantastic, and they come out pretty cheap. You're not going to be able to get them out super fast, so you need something like Darkus or Ventus on your team to help slow down your opponent so that you can get this stuff online. But once you have them online, well, you're getting tons of cards. All of your stuff has perma boosts, and now your Garganoid Ultra, your Hyper Garganoid Ultra, is sitting out at 1210 and is really hard to beat. In addition, since you're carrying Aquos, you can use cards like Bubble Net or Fixation to continually reclose and then re-roll Hyper Garganoid Ultra, so that you can keep using that 1210. It's really great. Next up, we have Haos Howlcore Ultra. So, Haos Howlcore Ultra brings 2 Helix cores with a 304 stat line with Helix plus 4 damage ability. So that's pretty nice. Since the best Helix cores, as I've gone over in the past, are the ones that increase power and decrease damage, his Helix bonus will offset that decrease really well. However, the problem is that 300 B power is just too low to be starting off with. Like, if this was like a 502, I think it would be really solid. But 304 is not great. So, like, let's say, for example, we land on the best Helix core, which is the 600 plus 600B minus 3 damage. So we're sitting at 905. So if we're fighting a 600B power Bakugan, if they land on even a plus 300B shield, well, they're already matching us. That's not great. That's not the best use of those Helix cores. So it's not really great there. That 300B power is really killer on this Bakugan. And its evolution is a 5 cost. 5 cost basically kills Titan Haos Ultra. It increases damage more, but at that point, like, that's 5 cost to go. Like, its B power is pretty decent, but it takes too long to get there. 5 cost is just way too late. So unfortunately, Haos does not really have a good pick for Helix, but you know, I don't really think Helix is the right. Haos is the right faction to go into a Helix deck anyways. I've gone over this a bit in the past, but I feel Helix is a slower deck type, and Haos doesn't really fit into that. So it doesn't really like this, and like how Helixes work in the first place, Haos doesn't really like that much either. So like this doesn't really integrate that well with Helixes don't integrate with Haos, and Haos does not integrate well with Helix. So it's a bit of a mismatch there. Next up, let's move into Haos Ultra. This is the home of our Bakugan Elite Evolution for Haos. So let's see what we got. Stat line is not starting great, 204. It does come with double shield, but as you'll see, we're not really getting any shield bonuses out of this, so it doesn't really integrate well into the sort of aggressive deck that a shield deck is going to really want. The stat line is honestly really bad. Like below average stat line with extremely low B power. So yeah, not really what you want to be seeing. It comes with 2 Evos. It's first Evo, so only rare, 2 cost, but it only brings it up to 506, and 500 is still really low B power. Like that's something that a lot of the like really good Bakugan are beating before evolving. Like tons of Aurelius Bakugan. We have Pegatrix, Fangzor, Garganoid. In Darkest we have Trox and Hydra's Ultra. In Aquos we have Fangzor. In Ventus we have Mantanoid. In Pyrus we have Mantanoid. In Haos we don't really have anything. And then there's tons and tons of Bakugan that match that 500B power, or can even go higher than that 500B power with their innate core type ability. And like this is not, that's really not good for 2 cost Evo to be sitting at. As the Victor ability, shuffle a card from your discard pile into your deck, but when you have a B power this low, it's going to be really hard to be getting that Victor ability off. So let's see what the Bakugan Evolution, Bakugan Elite Evo does. So Maximus Hydra's Ultra is a 7 cost. It's a 1008. 1008. If it was 1208, it might actually be something. Victor, shuffle 3 cards from your discard pile into your deck. So again, this B power is way too low for this cost. We are paying 7 and we're only getting 1,000. 1,000 is something that we see on several 3 costs and 4 costs and 5 costs. And we have to pay 7 for that. In addition, its ability is Victor, so it really needs to be winning battles. But that late, with that low of B power, is just not going to really be doing that. So it's just really not great. Really cannot recommend this Bakugan because, like, well, unfortunately, I've had to say this about literally every Bakugan Elite so far, but it's just overcosted and understated. Like, they accounted for that ability way too much. Like, if you were worried about that ability, then decrease the damage and increase the power, because it needs a high power to be useful at all, and it just never gets there. Alright, on to Haos Elias. This is a Bakugan that I have hyped up a lot. Ever since the buyer's guide, I've been hyping this guy up. Now, his starting stat line, 305, not the greatest start, but let's get into him. So, he brings a Magic Shield and a Flaming Fist. This is like one of the best core lineups you can bring in terms of raw power. Both of these can give pretty substantial boosts to your power, but Magic Shields are obviously the better one. Really helps deal with that low 300 base power, as do his evolutions. So first up, we have Evo number 1, Hyper Elias at 2 cost. He only goes up to 500 B power here and 6 damage. This evolution is not terribly great, but he does get a core bonus ability on both Magic Shield and Flaming Fist now. This is the only Bakugan like this that gets a core bonus on 2 different core types. Nothing else does this right now. So he gets plus 200 B on Magic Shields, going up to 700, and on Flaming Fist he gets plus 2 damage, so he goes up to 8 damage. Neither of these are terribly fantastic. Neither of these are why this is a really great Bakugan. Okay, so Evo number 2, Titan Elias. This is the big boy. This is the awesome rare. So Titan Elias is a 4 cost, 808. Now, quick note, so that I don't get tons more comments saying this like I did on the buyer's guide. Titan Elias is confirmed to be a misprint. Titan Haos Fangzor is not a Bakugan that exists. This is supposed to say Titan Haos Elias. That is how the card actually works. So, Titan Elias, 808. On Flaming Fist, it gets plus 400 damage. Who cares? When it lands on a Magic Shield, it gets plus 200 B, and you may attach an additional Baku Core from the field to Titan Haos Elias. Titan Haos Elias, that's what I meant to say. So, immediately goes up to 1,000, which is the number we want. And then, then it also has a Magic Shield on it, so that's 1,650. But we typically don't count core bonuses when talking about this stuff. But in this case, we have to make an exception, because we are getting an additional core. So, with Titan Elias, you obviously want to play this in a deck where you are maximizing your Magic Shield, so you have 3 on the board. Why do you want to do this? Well, obviously, that's because Magic Shields provide the best B power bonuses. So, the highest Magic Shield you can get, which you can get in the Garganoid card collection, is 650 B. So this immediately jumps up to... So, basically, this ability will get you an additional 650 B. This Magic Shield ability basically says get plus 850 B. It is super, super good. In addition to that, even if you miss the Magic Shield, since this is Haos, you can just use Consort anyways, get the Magic Shield, and then you get another Magic Shield. It's really, really great. And if you don't have Magic Shields, if you don't have another Magic Shield, well, then you can just grab something else, like an Almost Shield or whatever. So yeah, this Bakugan is really, really good. Very, very high impact. Yeah, this is amazing. This is typically going to be sitting, like, after you do that, after you activate this ability, you're typically going to be sitting at about a small number of 2,300. 2,300 is the number you're typically sitting on with Titan Elias. It's really, really strong. Very good Bakugan. Of course, this is a Bakugan that you're going to want to roll first, if at all possible. Yeah, you really want to roll this first, if at all possible. Be it the first Bakugan you win with, because until you reach that turn 4, it's going to be a bit detrimental. And unfortunately, you can't really pair Elias with Pyrus right now, because Pyrus' Magic Shield options really, really suck. Yeah, until Garganoid Ultra comes out. When Garganoid Ultra comes out, even without Evos, I would just throw that in, because 505 stat line and brings Magic Shield and Flaming Fist is really good. Especially once we get Evos for that. Like, Garganoid Ultra, Pyrus Garganoid Ultra is something that I very much have my eye on for pairing with Haos Elias, because, like, Then we get access to Might of Syndius. And Might of Syndius will help shore up that early game weakness of Nilius really well. So yeah, Haos Elias, very strong Bakugan. Highly recommend, but you need to build around it. You need to build around these magic shields to get the most out of him. Alright, next up we have Leah's partner Bakugan, Pegatrix in Haos. Starting off really well with a 502 stat line. The exact average we want to see. Comes with double fist, which is not great for increasing power, but when Pegatrix lands on a fist, it gets plus 200B and plus 2 damage. So obviously this is an ideal pick for a fist focus deck. This becomes 704. Really good stat line, like well above what we would normally be expecting out of a non-Aurelius Bakugan. And then let's get into the Evos. So of course there is a Diamond Pegatrix Evo that like all other diamonds is really trash. 6 cost for 1206. That's really bad. That's way too late for that kind of bonus. And we don't even get anything from our fists anymore. So, like, that's really bad. And then we have Titan Pegatrix. Titan Pegatrix is really good. So, Titan Pegatrix is 4 cost. That's a bit later, but fine, whatever. Pegatrix can hold its own until then. Goes up to 1004, so we have that 1000 stat line that we really want to see. And then when it lands on a fist, it gets plus 500B and plus 5 damage. So this becomes 1509. Absolute monster on a fist. And that damage rating is going to be increasing even higher. So this is going to be over 10 basically all the time. Very strong. On Evo, this is going to be like 4 cost for plus 800, which is decent. A bit below curve. Actually, I think that, no, that's like, no, yeah, that's a bit below curve. That is a bit below curve, but fine, that's fine. You're also getting some damage out of it, so whatever. Very good Bakugan. Highly recommend for any fist-based deck. And lastly, we have Haos Serpent Ultra. So Serpent Ultra sits at 501 and double shield, and when it's on a shield, gets plus 4 damage. Not exactly something I'm terribly thrilled to see. I would have liked a more balanced spread like Pegatrix, especially since its starting B power is not like out of this world stellar. And you've already heard me. If you've listened to the Darkest video, you already know that I think this thing isn't terribly great. And like, let's talk about that Evo. Okay, so 2 costs, fairly early game, 703. So it only goes up by plus 200B, plus 2 damage, which is pretty standard for 2 costs. And its shield bonus becomes a plus 7 damage, so just more damage. When it comes to shield decks, as you've already seen in the Aquos videos and the Aurelius videos, because we've covered the other 2 big shield Bakugan, which are Aquos Pegatrix and Aurelius Fangzor. Those already get big damage when on a shield core. So like Pegatrix is like 5 damage, same as this, but it's higher power. And Fangzor is 7 damage unevolved with higher power as well. And evolved, they evolve later than Serpentes here, but they both hit that 1000 threshold on their shield cores before the shield bonus, before the actual bonus from the shield core itself, like just from their character card. Pegatrix hits 1100 and 1100, right? No, it's 1300. Hits 1300, and Fangzor itself is also 1300. This is really low in comparison, and the big problem here is when you compare it to Darkest Elias Ultra. Darkest Elias Ultra on a shield core before applying the bonus from the shield core is sitting at 600, only 100 below this 2 cost evolution in its unevolved state. And while the damage is lower, well, we have the other 2 Bakugan on our team to more than provide that. They're hitting for 5 pre-evolved in Aquos Pegatrix's case, and 11 after evolution, and Fangzor is 7 pre-evolution and 12 post evolution. So like we really don't need something like Serpentese in that team. So yeah, Serpentese doesn't really have a place. It's pretty lackluster at pulling off this shield core stuff. If it was more balanced, like Payoffs, it would probably be a lot better. Because it could really, like, say for example, this was plus 200 and plus 2B on the base form, and let's say plus 300, plus 3 damage on the evolved form. So that would be 703 and 1006. That would be way more respectable and way more workable. But as it is, it just doesn't really, like, where the stats are going isn't really great. So it just kind of flops. So that's all. Good Haos Bakugan are, of course, Haos Fangs are really perfect for domination decks. If you're focusing on domination, this is the ideal Haos Bakugan, especially if you're mixing with Pyrus. Garganoid is great for slower control hero-based decks that really focus on getting a bunch of heroes on the board and reaping the benefits of all their permanent buffs. How core sucks. Helix Ultra sucks. Nilius is amazing. What you want build around for Magic Shield decks. And also, I believe there are some Bakugan that come with Magic Shield and Helix cores. Yeah, I just checked my Ventus Trox. I thought that was one of the ones I did. So like, say for example, Ventus Trox has a Magic Shield and a Helix. So Helix is your second best selection for the core you pick up with the Magic Shield, because Helixes can also provide very big buffs, and while they will decrease your damage, that's a worthwhile trade-off, because you're already sitting at 8 damage. You don't really need to worry about that too much. So Magic Shield / Helix Bakugan are also something good to keep your eye on for this deck, because it allows you to have more big B power buffs on your team. So yeah, this is really fantastic for Magic Shield decks, really what you want to build around there. And Payoffs is perfect for Fizz decks, super stable for Fizz decks. So yeah, that's Haos. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next time we will be talking about the big boys, Pyrus. I hope you look forward to it. This is Hunter Surge signing off.